So good morning everyone and welcome to Achaibo Clinical Research Q&A calls. I am Bea, assistant to Tengu, and I'll be working with you in the background to assist you with all things related to the online training program. So before we get started, I'd like to go over a few items so you know what we're going to do on today's event. On your screens, you'll see participant interface where you can see the microphone, the video icons, participant list, chat, reactions, or emoticons. Please click on the participant list so that you'll be able to raise your hand when you have questions or experiencing technical issues. We have everybody else automatically muted so we don't hear background noises as others join in. You will have the opportunity to submit text questions to us by typing your questions in the Q&A box. You may send in your questions at any time during the presentation. We will collect this and address them during the Q&A session at the end of today's presentation. You could also raise your hand by pressing the hand button and we'll have you unmuted before you speak up for your questions. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Tengo Muna, the founder and the CEO of the Achaibo Clinical and the creator of our online course, The Ultimate Clinical Research Toolbox.
Thank you, Bea. Happy Wednesday.
Happy
Happy
Wednesday.
Wednesday indeed. Yep. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Delighted that you're here. That was Bea. She is the wind beneath my wings. And because of her, all of this is possible. And Lee, who will be joining us later, also is part of the team. So that said, we are a tribal clinical. And for those of you who are stopping by for the first time, we typically go over the agenda really quickly, and that's what Bea just did. She went over the housekeeping questions, and then I introduced the team, and then we're going to talk a little bit about me, why I'm really passionate about clinical trials. And we're going to talk a little bit about the industry and why it is really important that you seriously take a good look at how you can make a difference in this sector. And then we will talk about what our tribal clinical offers. And then lastly, we're going to wrap up our series on the mind, which is week 14. And then we're going to go into the Q&A. Okay, if that sounds good, let me go ahead and welcome all of you. Hello, Ben. Welcome. Elizabeth. Mercy. It's been a while. I'm glad you're back. And then we have Kate Chinyere. Hello. And then Richard is here as well. Oh, and Tara. Hi. Nice to meet you guys. I know some of you come every week, and then we also have new people who are attending this week. Really delighted. Now, if you are here for the first time, maybe you found me on LinkedIn or Facebook or one of the social media outlets or through email. I am Tengu, and I've been in clinical trials for over 18 years. And I have to say, it's been quite a journey for me, working at the global level, managing trials globally across several countries, working with thought leaders across the world, and then really focusing on emerging markets like South America, Africa, and APAC. So really delighted to be here. My passion is just coaching and sharing my expertise with others so that they can grow and evolve in new and wonderful ways. I've worked for several types of companies, very big ones, the Lillys, the Pfizers, the AbbVies of the world, and also for smaller companies that are more biotech and bio pharma that have really interesting products that they're getting ready to bring to the market. They typically have a smaller pipeline compared to the larger companies. And then, of course, I've worked across various therapeutic areas. This industry is so juicy, you guys, because in clinical operations, you could be working on a drug one day, you move into medical devices, you go into biologics, or just some product that, maybe a food company wants to bring to the market and they just want to test it. So it's a very exciting industry. I mentioned this previously, but what I love is coaching and mentoring people because I honestly believe that, we can drive projects, deliverables, meet timelines. But what really matters is that people feel empowered and they feel encouraged that they're working on something that's going to impact the lives of patients around the world. And so my passion is encouraging people and coaching them and really, really ensuring that they can take a deep dive within them and come up with tools and resources that they can use to move a project forward or in their own lives. Now, during my time in this industry, I've organized a lot of audits across the globe, and the programs that we offer come from those tools and resources, right? Findings from audits, trends across the globe, what's happening, in the clinical trial space. The other thing that we also do is that we do a lot of marketing when it comes to clinical trials, because really we want to make sure that people understand what they're getting into. And by people, I mean the various countries and investigators. So a lot of marketing is involved, and it's something that I'm so passionate about. Now, I created Achaibo Clinical really to standardize and innovate the clinical trial space. And what that just means in a nutshell is that I believe that if there's a clinical research professional who's in this industry, they need to know how to move up as quickly as possible. Or if there are people who actually want to come into the industry, they need to know, at least get hands-on coaching, understand how to navigate this space so that they can move up pretty quickly. So that is why I am here. I see you guys are chatting. Um, okay, great. I think Mercy has a question. Okay, we will unmute you. Yeah, B's right. We're going to unmute you later once this part of the presentation is over. Okay. So, what are clinical trials? You can Google what clinical trials are, but every week I focus more on what they're used for. So, we're using them to prevent, to detect, to treat, and manage various diseases, right? And so we are now in the stage of, we do a lot of treating and managing. Yes, we do detect, with great diagnostic tests and things, but we really focus more on treating and managing. And now, but the industry is shifting. We're going more into preventing and detecting, because as you know, the innovations in tech, machine learning, robotics, artificial intelligence, large data mining, all those things are affecting this industry as well. And so we're going to get to the point where we're going to be able to detect diseases and prevent them way before they happen. And that's really good news. And what that means for you is that this industry is not going away anytime soon. So long as there are human beings on this planet, we will have all kinds of different diseases, right? So, so long as we're living on this planet, unless Elon Musk, takes us to Mars, then we have to deal with the conditions that are on Mars and whatever is there. But anyway, in R&D, we are going to be here for a long time, because there's constantly new innovations coming through. The human beings were changing and evolving, and so there is always something new to research, always some new product to bring to the market. And remember, you guys, health is important. Without your health, you have nothing else, right? So it is an industry that is really there to ensure that we live long lives. But here's the thing. There is this data that keeps coming out saying, people are living longer, and it's wonderful, and because of the innovations in healthcare. But we will get to the point where it's not just about living longer, because certainly people do live longer. But if you're living longer with diseases, and you spend the last 10 years of your life, no matter what age you are, fighting different diseases, from diabetes to cancer, to Alzheimer's and all kinds of diseases, then there's no QL, right? There's no quality of life. So as we're getting into the phase of preventing and detecting, we're going to have a longer lifespan, but we're going to also be healthy, okay, to live longer. Because I have to tell you, if I have to live longer, I don't want to live longer in, confined to my bed, right? That's not what is ideal. So that's the beautiful thing about this industry. It really gives us hope for the future. And this industry is very unique. It is decentralized, and the way that it's decentralized is a bit different from other industries. The decentralization has to do with the fact that we run clinical trials in so many different countries, right? We could have one protocol, which is the Bible, the instructions of what we should do during the trial, and then we take that and we run it across so many different countries. So that way the burden doesn't lie, the data burden is not just in one place, okay? Even running a trial within one country, we run it across different facilities, which is really good, right? So we have a certain variety of data. Clinical trials are globalized. So that means that if you, wherever you are in the world, whether you're a clinical research professional, you're a clinical research site, you're going to be at the same standard. So it's not where we have special products for, say, people who are in Cameroon, or people who are in the Philippines, right? There are special products, and then out in the West, there are different rules that govern them. It doesn't work that way. Wherever you are in the world and you're participating in a clinical trial, you're gonna always have the tools and resources that are the global standard. That's a very good thing. The other great part is the adaptability of this industry. It adapts to um, new ideas. I mentioned the rise of robotics, artificial intelligence, big data mining, and all of that. It adapts to the trends that are going on in the world, right? But it also adapts to health crises, okay? Like health pandemics, okay? We just had COVID, and I'm sure that there'll be many more other pandemics. I'm not saying it like I'm wishing it to happen, like I'm like it's like we'll have many more Christmases to come. No, I really mean that in relation to this industry, the fact of the matter is that we cannot avoid this. So it adapts to real world events, right? Pandemics and those types of things. And it also adapts to trends that are going on in the world. Okay, so that's really good. And so it just, I mean, it's such a massive industry. There's so much innovation. And that's why it really is a great place to be in. The other idea, which I get, so not an idea, the other um, attribute to this industry is that the skills that are in clinical trials are transferable, you guys. So for example, I have been on trials that are, and by trials, I mean projects, that's what we call them, clinical trials, right? That have been across many countries. I've been on projects where I'm here in the US, but I'm working on a project in Japan. I'm working on a project that is in Brazil. So there is that breadth, right? So we have the breadth and we have the scope, okay? And so we want to have skills that we can use anywhere in the world. If you have a skill set and it is restricted to your neighborhood, means you can't work past your neighborhood, right? If you get out of your neighborhood, you can't, I mean, you're not useful anymore. That's a problem. If you have a skill set that's limited to your city, right? And you want to grow and you want to evolve more, then that's a problem. So you have to acquire the skills that are going to allow you to transcend past your city. And what about your country? Do you have a skill set that's only limited to the country that you're in? You want to have a skill set. If you choose to go global, then you want to have a skill set that you can apply globally. And the good news is that in this industry, particularly in clinical operations, that skill set is the same one all over the world. So long as you can speak the language of the country that you're in or the country that you would like to work in, then you're fine. So those are some of the things about this industry that I really enjoy, and that makes it very unique. Of course, I always talk about the innovation and just the constant need to perfect healthcare. People are so driven by that. The other thing that I haven't talked about is it's one of the few industries where you have a confluence of so many different sectors. So you would have you've medical doctors in it, you have project managers in it, you have different types of doctors, right? Different therapeutic areas, ophthalmologists, dentists, endocrinologists, they work on oncologists. I mean, you name it, we have it in the industry. But then you also have the legal profession in the industry, because with dealing with regulatory laws, we need that. You have regulatory authorities, right? So just think about all the different professions that it takes to come together to make sure that we test a product properly, make sure that it's safe on patients, and then also that we have data integrity. So decentralized, globalized, adapts. It has transferable skills, modernization, and innovation. And then, of course, the confluence of so many different types of professions. Now, I'll talk a little bit about the state of affairs in the world and the opportunity that is there. But before I go on, let me pause and say hello to more people who have joined. I'm glad you guys are following and you're having a lovely Wednesday. Let's see. Uzoma, hi. And Rebby's here. Hello, happy Wednesday. Hi, Marshall. I'm glad you guys are following. Good, good, good. Okay, so let's keep going. The opportunity in this industry, as you can see, most areas of the world, and particularly Africa, where a lot of us are from, you know, there is such a need to run clinical trials. Okay. It is not an industry that is saturated, as you can see. Yes, in the United States, of course, because this is the hub of the where clinical trials started, and of course, Western Europe, as you see here, a lot more clinical trials are being run between the US and Western Europe. But see, Canada is even yellow. East Asia has picked up. I'm sure they're getting more to this color now. But look at them for the rest of the world. I mean, there's so much opportunity. So the reason is because I probably didn't touch this in previous weeks. Think about the innovations and the modernizations in this industry. I mean, let me just, I've worked on a lot of ophthalmology projects, and the eye is a very interesting object. I'm fascinated by it because you have the posterior chamber, the anterior chamber, but within that, the eye alone, there are specialists for different sections of the eye, right? So I like to do that because it's such a small organ, and yet think about all the different types of disease that can affect your eye, and then the hundreds of clinical trials that are out there just to do with your eye. Okay, so and then your ear, ear, nose, and throat trials. But the point that I'm wanting to make is this: it's an industry that can never be saturated. Why? Because the needs that are in the world are greater than whatever innovations, right? Whatever clinical trials are going to be run. So clinical trials are actually trying to catch up with the needs in the world. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, because it's an experience-based industry, which means that you have to get hands-on training, and we will get into that. People don't really know about the industry. It's not a popular industry, and people think pharmaceuticals or biotechnology. They don't think clinical trials. They think, products coming to the market, we buy them from the pharmacy, but they're not aware of that anywhere from 0 to 20 years of testing a new product. So people don't really think that way. And so it's not an industry that is saturated. The number of clinical trials and there is a gap between the number of clinical trials and staffing in this industry. Okay, the staffing is a big issue because we don't have enough clinical research professionals to meet that demand. So, and then of course, with the world being globalized, and we're having a lot of diversity of geographical changes and all of that good stuff. We have to get to a position where we have enough people who are in this industry, right? So that we can meet those needs. But again, we haven't done that because it's just impossible. I mean, there's a new product hitting the market every day. There's a scientist who's coming up with something new, some new idea. And, I was looking at the list of new pharmaceutical companies in the past 5 years. I think there were like maybe 500 more. But inside of those, you have companies that are in pre-development. So those companies are still just, doing all laboratory. They're really focused on discovery. They're not even full-fledged biotechnology or pharmaceutical companies. So there's a lot out there. It's a very exciting industry, I have to say. And then, of course, let me talk a little bit about Achaibo Clinical. Like I said before, the goal here is to give you the tools and resources to be better clinical research professionals. So whether you're in the industry and you want to grow, that's fine. But we really target more people who are outside of the industry, who are clinical research nurses, who could be nurses, you could be pharmacists, you could be medical doctors, whatever healthcare profession that you're in. Our goal is that you become successful in this industry. And also, if you're in the industry, and I will get to this, you're a clinical research nurse or a lab tech and those types of professionals, and you actually want to switch to a new role, we will also help you. But our goal is to expand the number of clinical research professionals, qualified clinical research professionals who can come into this industry and make a difference in patients' lives, right? Because ultimately, we want patients around the world, and we're all patients, right? I mean, when I say patients, I'm not referring to something that is out there that is so far from us, right? We want to make sure that we are getting the right care for our health. Okay, and so we want to educate, we want to coach you, but of course, we also want to expand the number of clinical research professionals and clinical research sites. Okay, So we offer a few programs, but the main goal again is that we are all about hands-on training. You've probably taken programs out there where there are modules. You go online, you take maybe 6 or 7 modules, and then it's bye bye. We'll see you. I didn't not even bye bye. You just get like a checkbox which says that you're done. What we offer is lifetime coaching. So whatever program that you're going to be involved in, or you choose to be involved in, we meet, you take online modules, and then we meet with you every week, and we address all aspects of the clinical research space, right, as related to the job function that you're interested in. The second thing which makes us very different is that we also have mindset and success training. And this is important because, it's one thing to get all the technical knowledge, but it's also, you will also get day-to-day skills coaching on success. How do you manage your time? How do you prepare yourself for success? What ideas can you use that are going to help you in whatever job that you have, or whatever career path that you are choosing to take? So it's a blend of clinical research coaching, and then of course a mindset coaching related to clinical trials, and it's very practical and it's very hands-on. Now, our flagship program, which we offer, is the CRA Monitor training program. And what a clinical research associate does is they are brought on here by the pharma company, or the middleman, or however, but they are part of the good clinical practices law and they regulations. So they go out to a clinical research site and they monitor. Okay. And what they do is they check, they want to make sure that the patients are safe who are participating, and and then that the data has integrity. So it's a very important role in this industry. I was in this role for a very long time, and I eventually, became a trainer as well. And it is the role that has really allowed for me to excel. Majority of the people who come in this role move up very quickly because it is a role that allows you to deal with all the different departments in clinical trials and different vendors. So if you're there to help a clinical research site, which is where everything happens, automatically you have to be aware of everybody who's participating, from the project team that you're part of, right? And then of course all the vendors involved, what happens at a clinical research site. So you do get access to everything. Now, if you're in a role where maybe you're only managing the data side of things, then you only deal with the data on a day-to-day basis, and you really don't know what's happening, in the safety piece. You don't know what's happening with the administration of the investigational product, how it's being stored. So it's a very important role. It is the role that is at the heart of clinical operations. Okay. And without clinical operations, we won't have any clinical trials. So really important training based on feedback from my own experience, of course, because I was in this role from a long time, and feedback from peers, what actually goes on in the market. And so I'm constantly researching and looking for new ways to add to the tool. So during our weekly coaching, we cover one topic every week, and we give you those tools and resources. And then, of course, we talk about how to market and brand yourself. It's one thing to take courses and get coaching, but then how do you align yourself with, so that you can be able to serve in a bigger way and you're visible to people? So we also do that. Okay. And this is all lifetime. The additional programs that we have to do with, if you're interested in setting up a clinical research site, this will be for you. You just want basic training in this industry. You want to understand what happens at a clinical research site. So those are some of the side things we have. We also have a network which we use, but our flagship course is the Ultimate Clinical Research Training Program. The goal, when I started this, I have trained medical doctors. I've helped them set up facilities. We've used our network before, but the role that I found that can really, really make a difference is the Ultimate Clinical Research Monitoring Training Program, this CRA role. And it's something that we're really focusing on right now. We're pushing to make sure that we get as many of you trained as possible. You give you the tools and the resources so that you can come into this industry or move up as quickly as possible. Okay, so we do, like I said, we do have other programs, and our focus is the CRA training role. Now, the way that the industry is right now, we're right at the beginning of the curve, particularly on the African continent, right? We're right at the beginning of the curve. And if you saw on the map, which I went through before, is this greenness. I mean, it's an industry that is not saturated, will not be saturated anytime soon. And so it's a good place to be. And so our goal is to give you that lifetime membership support. Make sure that you attend your weekly coaching calls, and then, of course, give you the success coaching that you need so that you can have exponential income potential. So now you become someone who's not limited to their neighborhood, right? You're now someone who can use their skills and talents in so many different areas, as well as so many different countries in the world, right? Or you can now be approached by other countries, because it's two ways. You can work in so many different countries, but then now you have a skill set that when a pharma company, is looking for clinical research personnel in your country, because you have this skill set, you will be available for that, right? So it exposes you as well to more resources, so that you can move forward with your life. And of course, we want to compete globally. Just repeating what I said earlier, competing globally is important. Now, I have to explain this. I didn't set out to compete global. I didn't set out to go global. When I graduated a long, 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 long time ago, I worked with the United Nations for a little bit. And I remember when I moved to the States, all I said was, it would be nice to work in an industry that is global. And I have to say, it was the best thing that could ever have happened. But for me, the best thing that has really happened, that was the best, no, that was the best thing, but the bestest of the best that happened is this passion that I have now to train other clinical research professionals. So my goal was to get into a global industry that is impacting people's lives across the planet, right? Because when we test a product, that product could be used here in the US, it could be used in Canada, it could be used in the Philippines, it could be used in India. It doesn't really matter. And you can have a product that might not even work here, but it's in another country. But either ways, the data is going to be that analysis of the data helps a lot to decide on where to go with the product, as well as the other kinds of products that we can bring to the market. So that's the really good thing about this. So we are helping patients across the globe, right? I mean, you're making a difference in people's lives. You're exposing yourself to something more, okay? And then that gives you hope in your own life. Alrighty, so that's our presentation. I wanted to just talk about Achaibo Clinical. That's what we do. That's what we're passionate about. And towards the end, I typically say, if you want to get in touch with me, you can book a call, or you can send us an email and say, hey, I'm interested in some of the programs that you're offering. But now, like all the coaching that we do, we're now going to move into our success coaching, okay, which I get so excited about, because last week, you guys, remember we talked about Formula 13, right? Make your move before you're ready. And if this is the first time you're joining, again, all our webinars we talk about clinical trials, we do some mindset coaching, and then we go into the Q&A. That's how it works, because it was really important that you leave not just with the technical knowledge about clinical trials, but also with some hope and some skills that you can apply in your life on a day-to-day basis. Okay, so we talk about making your move before you are ready. And I said, don't let preparing stop you, right? The conception is that you have to get ready and then you aim and you fire. But sometimes it is better to fire and then see what the results are of your fire, and then get ready, and then, and then like aim, get ready, and then fire again. So I know it sounds counterintuitive, but remember this. We a lot of times in life, the reason why we don't move forward is because we have analysis paralysis, right? We have something that we'd like to do, and we have a whole story going up in our head. Yeah, then I'll do this and I'll do that, and then this will happen, but you haven't taken the action. It's the action that is key. And I talked about Silicon Valley and the idea of reiterating. And if you have phones, you know how it goes. You get, we just had I think the new rollout for the iPhone was like iPhone 15, whatever. And then all of a sudden we're in 15.01 because they're trying to fix bugs, or whatever phone you have, right? Companies launch products now, and then they see what the feedback is, and then they reiterate. Okay. So remember this, getting ready is a stalling tactic. We talked about that. Sometimes, you don't need to look before you leap. Seriously, there are times that you do. right? But if you are paralyzed because you're so scared that if you leap, you don't know what's going to happen, go ahead and jump and then take things from there. The point of this formula from last week was you want to live life in such a way that you are constantly moving forward, okay? And you are willing to risk and be vulnerable. Vulnerability is so key because many times we don't want to move forward because we think, what do people think about me? What if this fails? I don't know what will happen, But if you are waiting for perfection, you're going to miss the opportunity. You and I'm getting into the final formula for the week just to prep your mind. Everything that you need is already within you, and so if you're not taking the step because you think that something will happen, then you're assuming that you don't have the gifts and talents already within you. They're going to come from somewhere, maybe Pluto or Jupiter, and they're going to zing into you. Everything that you need to take the next step is already done. Then when you take that next step, then everything that you need will come to you. Now, this week, we're going to talk about the final formula, which is look inside for the opportunity. So I loved it when I was reading, and I've been, like I said, I've been studying this book by Price Pritchett for a very long time, for years. And what I enjoyed about this final formula was that the things that have to happen are not out here in the world, because we let events and activities in the world control us many times, and I've been guilty of that. And I keep working to remind myself that what is out here in the world is perception. Okay, it's not reality, it's my perceiving. The only thing that there is in the world is what you're perceiving. What actually is, there was nothing out there. I mean, light is reflecting into your eyes and then your brain interprets it in a certain way. I mean, we all know that if you take all of us and put us under a microscope, there's air, there's nothing there, there are atoms, and after atoms there's nothing. So not to get into all of that, but just remember, this is nothing is going on except your perception of it. Okay, and so opportunity, timing, performance is within you, is not in the situation. And let me expand on that. The opportunity that is there for you, the timing of when it's going to happen, the performance that you're going to have to bring forward is within you, is not in the situation. Because what if you the way that you're going to shape this opportunity, right, has to do with your thinking. And so people think it's the situation first and then it's my view of it. Your view of it, the timing that you're going to play, how you're going to perform, that is what shapes the situation, and not vice versa. But of course, we live in a world where everything is right in front of us, right? Oh my goodness, I'm going through a very difficult situation. It's nice when life is honky dory, things are moving. But when you're facing a challenging situation, it is not so much what is going on in the situation, it is how you're perceiving it and your approach to it and how you're dealing with it. Because two people can be involved in the exact same issue, but it's all about how they're perceiving it, right? So that's something that you want to be aware of. And so your mind and spirit is the link to the physical. And I talked about this, and see, as you can see, I'm a little bit of an OCD person. Everything has to be perfect. And I was like, no, look at that. I had a spelling error, so I had to change that. Okay. That's just those are my little imperfections, which I love very much. So your mind and spirit is the link to the physical. It is my belief, and this is what has actually worked for me. The reason why I'm passionate about what I do, why I want to serve, and why I want to train and coach people and give them tools and resources, because I believe that the mind and the spirit is more powerful than anything, right? When you set your mind to do something, it is my belief that we're downloading things, that those of you who are on this call today and who come every week, is because you have a desire within you to be part of something different, and you want to be part of a space where it's positive when you feel uplifted. But that comes from your spirit. So your spirit channels you to wherever you have to go, and then now your mind, you use your mind to shape things. Okay, now your mind and your spirit are the link to the physical, not the physical being the link to your mind and your spirit. Everything comes from what you're thinking about, and how you're seeing your place in the world. Okay, so that's important. Your dreams, your desires, and passion have the blueprint for success within them. This is really important. There is, for every idea that you have or anything that you want to undertake in your life, let me go into clinical trials as an example. Before we even go into running clinical trials, we have something called a clinical study blueprint. And this is a blueprint that we create for what a whole project is going to be like. But where does the blueprint exist? In our minds, right? We meet together as a team, we start saying, oh yeah, maybe it's part of a certain portfolio. Okay, this product was used in migraine headaches. We want to now use it in for a dermatology indication. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to borrow from what happened when we ran those migraine trials, and so we create that blueprint, right? And then from the blueprint, now we now create the clinical trial, where how many countries are involved, what we need, who's going to be, what tools we need, what resources, what are the timelines, and when are we projecting to submit to the regulatory authorities? Are we going to have data analysis? Is it going to be interim? How often we're going to have it? When do we look at the data, the safety piece? So my point being that all your dreams, your desires, and your passions all start from in here. And it is something that happens within you. And that is your blueprint. And so that blueprint, if something that you want is not coming about, is because you think that it is the manifestation that is the end point. Okay, let me explain. My sister in London always says, you got to break this down as much as possible. And so, because this is how I learned it, and how I read these things, and I also get things from mentors, because I like people to break things down for me. I don't like airy fairy stuff. This is what it means. If I have an idea that, say that I want to create a hospital in my area that's going to run clinical trials, okay, and I start shaping that idea in my mind. So long as I focus on it, that idea is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, whether it's me taking notes, or it's me starting to think about who are the people who are going to participate, and how I'm going to get people engaged about it. Automatically, that's the blueprint that you are creating, right? And so if that blueprint, if that doesn't come about, it will only be because you let go of the idea, okay? You gave up, you started making assumptions, right? And when I say you, I'm referring to me as well, okay? So I'm not pointing at anybody. We're all in this together. So if that didn't happen, I gave up. There were assumptions that were made. Maybe I have some ideas about myself. Maybe deep down, I don't think that I can actually accomplish this. Because once that blueprint is there, it is there, and for the gap to be filled. But here's the thing, you guys. The opportunity is within you, but it is not your role to fill every single piece of it. Okay, see it like see the blueprint. You guys know what a blueprint looks like, and then see like it's something that is filling it. For example, you want to build a hospital, you want to run clinical trials, right? That's the blueprint idea. In terms of the nitty gritty details, who you're going to meet, how that's going to come about, how you're going to set up this hospital, where you're going to buy the furniture from, the medical equipment, that's none of your business. Yes, that will be part of your plan. But if you get bogged down in the details, you're never going to do anything. So you always you look inside for the opportunity. You know that is within you. And yet you need to have a balance between the general part of it, which is the hospital I'm going to build. It's going to be wonderful, help a lot of people, and going too much into the specifics. You got to make sure you have a balance, because at some point you cannot have those specifics come through. So I hope you guys are getting that. And then finally, you already have all you need. Go for it. I don't know what you want to do in your life. I mean, this applies to so many things. Whether you want to start a clinical research program, and the past few years you really wanted to do something different with your life, and you want something that is there for your growth, right, and your evolution. Okay. Yes, it's clinical trials, but also you're getting inspiration, you're getting success coaching, you're getting tools and resources that will not only shape the clinical trials aspect of your life, but your personal life as well. So if that's something that you want to do, wonderful. Or whatever else that is going on in your life, okay, you always want to remember that you got to take that step. When you take the step, And then everything that has to do with that next step will actually come forth. And I know I've been there, sometimes was scared of the unknown. I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe I don't have the education, the qualification. Those are all stories that we tell ourselves. You have everything within you to take the next step. I'm not saying you have everything within you to take the next 20 steps. You do, but I won't frighten you. Just tell yourself, if you get a little bit scared right now, I have everything within me to take that next step. And when I take that next step, everything else will come. And the other thing is that you cannot give up. Speaking from experience, you cannot stop no matter what challenge you face. If it's something that you really want to occur in your life, you have to keep going no matter what happens. And so you have to basically tell yourself that I have the ability to do it within me. The only reason why it's not moving forward is because I have maybe some past behaviors of skills that the world has I picked up from the world. But so long as I have that blueprint and I keep focusing on it, it must come to pass. Okay, you guys, we're going to go into the Q&A, but before that, I hope you guys got it. I hope it made a difference. Just, I always say, take one thing and apply it in your life. It doesn't have to be everything that you heard today, whether it's related to clinical trials. Just take one thing, pick one thing that you heard today and say, okay, I'm going to experiment with that and see how it goes. Okay, rock stars, let me start here. Oh, Rama, to register, I will send you the link. I typically send you a link and the curriculum so that you can take a look at it. Can you type your email address so that we can send that to you? And we have our prices vary per region. So just send your email. Let me see. Can you type it in here in the chat, email address and what country that you're in, and then we're gonna send you everything. Okay, so Tara's asking if you need to have a degree. No, you don't need to have a degree. It just depends on what you're interested in, Tara. For something like this, I would say send me an email because or you can, let me see. Let me back up. Let me back up before I go. Oh yeah, and Tara, all our programs are certified. So Rama, let me back up with you. Did I answer your question? I'll send you everything. Why is my... Oh, fantastic. Okay. I know, Mercy, we will get to you. Okay, Rama, I know that you're oh, you're awesome. You were so good. Look at you type your email so fast. B, did you take a note of Rama's email? We'll send it, or Lee. So Rama and Tara. Tara, so in your case, I think that you and I can chat. I'll send you my calendar. And also, Rama, when I send you everything, I also put my calendar link if you have additional questions. But I wanted to just say, the way that the industry is structured is I have to understand what your qualifications are, for one. You do not necessarily have to have a degree. It just depends on which route you wanna go through. The most important thing is getting the knowledge that you need. And then with the way that we work with it, I'm going to show you how to navigate the industry and how to get there. Oh, fantastic. Rama, absolutely. Oh, yeah, you're a good candidate. I think that the clinical research associate opportunity will be just great for you because it is, and especially, I think you're in, Rama, are you in Egypt? Are you in Cairo or something? Oh, you're in Egypt. That's a good, yes, indeed. Egypt is hot. That's what I thought. Egypt is hot right now for clinical trials. I mean, like, it is a market that needs clinical research professionals. I mean, and I'm not just saying it's all over Africa, of course, you need it, but let me tell you what is going on with Egypt. North Africa has a very robust, so we have South Africa, which is huge in clinical trials. And then North Africa now is so huge because all the countries are bunched up north and a little bit part of the Middle East right now. So they go all the way into Lebanon, and then there's Egypt. Egypt is big because you have English speaking there. So I mean, you speak several languages, but English is getting a little bit more dominant. So that's a big market right now. I have to tell you, it's a market that has a need, really. So you absolutely want to get yourself. There are really good clinical research professionals there who work for big pharmaceutical companies, but a lot of them have to do more on the science side. And I think being a clinical research associate would be a good segue for you. So absolutely. I'll send you the information. We'll send you my calendar. You have additional questions, and then you can book a call with me. Same thing with you, Tara. I think Tara, wherever you are, Tara, are you in the US? Absolutely. Yeah, we'll get it to you right now. So Tara, are you in the US? Because in yeah, let's speak. I think that we should speak. Then I can navigate it. Hi, Tara.
Yeah.
Yes,
Hi.
welcome. Hello, lovely. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for answering my questions. Yes, I'm in the
Sure.
US
Good. Good.
and my
And what is your
background is in counsel. I have a master's in counseling, but my nonprofit is Black Heart Association.
Oh, you have a master's. You're fine. I mean, you're 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 fine. It's the same thing. It's just it's a very good industry, and I'll actually look into. Oh, I know. I actually checked out your blog. You're on LinkedIn.
Yes, I am the founder of
Yes.
Black Heart
Yeah.
Association, so
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
very
Yeah.
interested in what you have going on.
Yeah. 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 Let's. You know what? I will send you my calendar, and we can. I'm sure there are other areas where we can even talk and see. What how we can collaborate or something, and see what you're up to. Because I mean,
Okay.
you already have an organization. There is a need for minority patients here in the US, and I can discuss it with you. That's something that is huge right now. I don't know what your association does. I will go read about it before you and I meet, so I can just channel you other ways that you can get into the industry in the US. That's a big
Okay.
need right now. Huge, huge need. If you have an organization, that's the direction you want to go to. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Sorry, I like to call people lovelies. Yes. Oh, yeah. Tara talked about it being a certified program. Yeah, you and I will talk. I'll give you all the everything. I'll give you all the information, and then you can decide on where you want to go. Okay. So I see that the questions are dwindling. And any more questions? That's what I'm here for. Clinical research questions or mindset success coaching, right? Because that's my other passion. Oh, good. I see you guys don't have any more questions. For those of you who join every week, always a delight. Always a delight because oh, somebody just put their hand up. Let me answer. No, that was Tara. Mercy was gonna, yeah, Mercy wanted to speak. I was like, let me not miss out Mercy. Mercy, hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine. It's been a long time here.
I know. What have you been up to? Enjoying the summer, huh?
No. I've been trying to settle down. I just got into the UK
Yay!
um
That's
2 days
awesome.
ago. So I've been
Mm-hmm.
trying to settle down, put some things together back in Nigeria. And
Yes.
it has really been, that's why I've not been here actually.
Oh wow, that is fun. So where are you in the UK? Are you in London?
Okay, yes, I actually came in through Commonwealth Scholarship. So
Oh, that's
I'm doing my
fantastic.
master's. Yeah, I'm doing my master's currently at the University of the West of Scotland in the UK.
That is fantastic, Mercy. You told me about it. No wonder you disappeared for a few. I am so happy for you. And how is it going? Are you onboarding properly and are you getting your bearings?
Yeah, actually, I just came out from isolation, so I should be in school this week.
That's good. So
So,
have you
sorry.
explored the clinical trials sector there? Do you know? Have you looked into that?
No, I have not. I have not.
Okay.
But
Ooh,
with
I know
time,
it's new.
yeah, with time.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Take your time. I'm here if you need anything. Even ping me. You can schedule a call with me if you have any questions or anything, Mercy. I am so happy for you. Make sure you join every week. As you can see, we're adding new things and encouraging each other. I'm so
Yeah.
happy for you that you're going for what you wanted to go for. You have done what you said you were going to do. That's a good thing.
Yes, so thank you.
You did it. You said you were going to do in Mercy, and you've done it.
Yes,
And that is a wonderful thing. Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. That is just great. There's something about taking the next step, right? And It didn't require you going to another planet to take courses. You basically had an idea, you set it into motion, and now you're in a completely different place. And then from where you are right now, more opportunities will come that will take you to the next step. That's how it
Amen.
works. It's really simple. But what you're gonna do is you know what? I think you and I will have to talk. Let me not take up too much time. Book a call with me because I wanna know a little bit about the way the campus is, and that way we can strategize and align you with the right people, and I'm going to show you how you can approach them so that you can be somebody who's visible, because it's good to go, but you want to make sure that you're dealing with the best of the best, and that way you're visible, and there's a way to do that. I always say we got to market and brand ourselves everywhere we are. So book a call with me when you get a chance. No rush. We're going to do just a short 30-minute session, and I'll just coach you on what you're going to be doing.
Okay, no
Yeah.
problem. Thank you. Thank you
And
so
that's
much.
free. That comes free. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank
Well,
you.
you are welcome, Mercy. Enjoy
Yeah.
the cold months. It's coming. It's coming. Get a coat, get some sweaters.
Yeah.
Alrighty, that was just
Thank
wonderful.
you.
You just made my day. Yes, Tara, I will. So Tara, I will send you I'm on Calendly. I will send you everything. Like, Bia and I were like really organized. We try to be. I'll send you everything. So I'll get you all the information. You just click on my calendar at your convenience, and you're gonna book any time slot. Yep, I will do that. And then of course, um, Rama will also be getting that shortly. So okay, before wrapping up today, Elizabeth. Elizabeth coaches with us. So I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Super excited. Um, and so I'm going to end here by saying, first of all, I thank you for joining this call today. It happens every week. So starting next week, I feel like screaming because I'm so excited for real, you guys, because I love clinical trials and I love mindset coaching. It's those two things have really shaped who I am today. And I believe that, we need that. We need tools and resources that we can apply. They don't have to be complicated in whatever we're doing, so that we can take the next step. So it's gonna be. We just got done with the 14, the 14 formulas, to take quantum leaps in your life. Next week we're starting with 7 steps to transform your life. I'm not gonna say what they are. They're little things that you can do on a day-to-day basis, and they will have instructions, and they will have tools, and there will always be one thing that you can apply. So that's the next series that is coming up, taking us into the festival end of the year, right? Festivities which run, I say this time goes all the way to the Christian holidays and the Chinese New Year coming up next year. I just say this whole period for the next 6 months is all celebrations after celebrations, based on what country that you're in. Something happens like this. I was going through my calendar for so many different countries around the world, and there's so many holidays. It's just like one holiday after another, running through February, at the end of February. So wherever you are, this series is going to take us through the next 7 weeks. And just grab your pen, like when you come in, and just take notes, and always take one thing that you're going to apply. So I'm very excited. Again, you look inside you for the opportunity. The discussions that we have here, I love them because it doesn't have anything to do where you are in the world. Really, doesn't really matter. It's the same experience, right? I talked about clinical trials. Clinical trials have regulatory laws that govern them, and the little changes based on regional laws or country laws, like the age of ascent in one country might be different from another. The way that products are shipped to one country might be different, but good clinical practice govern the whole world. We have to make sure that patients are safe in clinical trials, and that the data that we're submitting to the regulatory bodies is good data. Okay, so that's exactly how our lives are. We have this illusion that people are in different parts of the world, or in different parts of Africa. You're in Egypt, or I'm in Ethiopia, or I'm in South Africa. Oh no, you're in the Philippines, and all of that is just all an illusion. The fact of the matter is that every single one of us has skills, talents, and abilities which we can expand on and use to make a difference. Now, the impact of your skills and talents and abilities will determine your level of growth, right? So if I only have skills, like I said, in my neighborhood, then my level of impact is only going to be at the level of my neighborhood. If I have skills that are at the level of my country, then my level of impact will be at the level of my country. But if I have skills and applicable all across the globe. Doesn't matter what country I go to, like Mercy moving, to England, right? I mean, she her skills are have transcended Nigeria, right? So we always have to look at ourselves that way. We don't even have to physically move. So long as you choose to have a mind that transcends the boundaries and limitations that people have set for us or that we've set for ourselves, you're going to be able to expand. Okay. And that's really what it is ultimately, that we have all these opportunities within us. We're not getting them from somewhere else. And yet the expansion comes from inside. And as we expand more and more, whether we are expanding our minds or expanding our spirit, then we can transcend a lot of the limitations that we have in our lives. And then the bigger we are, the more of a difference we make in the world. And that applies to everything, right? Even the amount of money you make is relative to the impact that you're having in the world. So I want to thank you so much. And again, remember, no matter what you're facing, look inside you for the opportunity. It is within you. All the answers are within you. And don't go looking for it in other people, because they're busy looking for it in themselves. So don't go relying on them for that. They're just, doing their best. So I want to thank you for attending this call. Again, we have this posted on YouTube. It's free. Just go on there. If you want to watch past episodes, go ahead and watch that. If you have additional questions, let me go to, this is the email address you can send things to, CS at Achaibo Clinical. And I also mentioned what's coming up. Okay, you guys have a fantastic rest of the week. Thank you so much for joining. And I will see you next week. Bye.